Hi there. Welcome to the Joyful Gardener. Would you love for your crops to be perfect and complete? Well, come along with me as we grow together. Today's video is going to be a quick impromptu walk around the garden to see what I've been up to lately. I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts and share with you some of my tips and tricks. So let's get started. Okay, this is the current state of my garden. It's not the most beautiful thing, but it is definitely a working garden. You can see here that I do have a little tent set up. When I woke this morning, got out here at 7:30, it was very humid already and probably about 92 degrees. This is apparently where we grow grass. Look at that. I despise this type of grass because the roots are so deep, and this is how I actually sow my seeds. It's from this, and you can see, I mean, it's pretty matted in there, so I've got to address this today because I'm getting ready to sow seeds for tomatoes. So if you don't know, August is the perfect time to sow your tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant. So you want to definitely get started on that, put them on a heat mat, and you know, in the next couple of weeks, you can definitely you can transplant them. So I'm going to be laying some ground cover here. I have decided that I do like the ground cover. Initially, I just wanted the grass because I thought it was beautiful and aesthetically pleasing, but I have learned that it definitely cuts down on time in other areas. So this bed here is peanuts. You see I have some peanuts growing and also some grass. So these are the peanuts I've planted. Some of them have germinated and some of them have not. You can kind of see this little guy here is peeking out. I don't know if you could see the root of that. And then some of them still haven't really come to just yet. So they're still thinking about it. I'm going to be addressing the ant situation soon in my garden because they are definitely out of control. So in this bed I have peanuts. In this bed I just have a bunch of weeds and some basil. I'm going to be cleaning out this back part here and then putting the weed barrier down. I'm trying out this weed barrier. I got the 100 feet. This is 3 foot by 100. It was $14, and I figured I could try that out for $14. It wouldn't kill the bank. My next go around I'll probably make the investment and do a better type. But this type here is working out okay for me for the weed barrier. The one thing that, and I've got a video I've actually done or will be doing about the weed barrier, but you'll notice that it snags. So if you're a person who trips, heads up. So it ends up fraying like this. So you could tuck the ends under and then staple them down. You see I got a little staple there, but I haven't got that far yet because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it. And now that I am going to keep it, I need to do something about it. But this is another peanut bed here, and they're coming along pretty nice. This end needs some, man, it's the stuff blueberries like. I can't think of it right now. I keep thinking of citric acid, and I know that that's not it. But anyways, the pH level in this bed is off, so I need to address the pH level in this bed so those peanuts have more of a fighting chance here. So I have 3 total beds of peanuts, and they're coming along rather nicely. I have a video specifically dedicated to peanuts that will be coming out so you can see their leaves look like this, and they're nice and green and healthy. This bed over here actually has these beautiful, look how pretty they are, beautiful white zinnias. These are my okra. I obviously need to cut this okra here. That when your okra gets this long, it's too woody. It's going to taste like caca to eat, so you definitely don't want to eat it at that phase. Here's another basil plant. I have gotten about 6 or 7 cups of leaves from this one basil plant, and I have made at least 2 huge batches of pesto. So this bed, once the okra is done, I haven't really decided, but I think I'm going to put carrots in this next. And and then whatever companion planting I can do. So that leads me to my next thing. So this year I will be doing some companion planting. I've never done that before. So I'm excited to do that, and also create some trap crops to help minimize some of the pests and disease. Obviously marigolds. This is my other bed of peanuts. You can see down here, they've grown beautifully, right? Germination's great. This, it's like patches. That patch, this patch, that patch. And then there's this one little lonely plant right there. So over here is my loofah. I'm going to put tomatillos in this bed next. So I'm going to leave this bed empty. I'm going to leave that bed empty. But obviously we have to address the grass situation. The weed eater just doesn't like me. I don't know what to say, but every time my husband fixes it, I break it. So there you go. And of course he's tired of fixing it, and that's just how it goes. So it's another reason why I started the weed barrier, so that way I don't have to always be bugging him to fix that stupid weed eater. But this is my loofah plant. If you don't know, you can actually eat loofah at a very young stage, but I am not going to be eating loofah. Okay, so here's some, I don't know if you can see that white guy there? See the white bug? And then obviously there's some ants. So I have to address that in this bed as well. So I'm going to be trying the borax solution, where you take borax, sugar, or honey, and mix it with water to make it damp, and then put it like in a K-cup, and then plant it in your bed. These are some peppers. You can see that they definitely need some TLC. This was way overgrown, and my peppers were not getting the sun that they needed. They were not getting the nutrition that they needed. And you can see that they're also getting with the ants. So here's a tiny little bell pepper there. My husband loves bell peppers. You can see here that there are zinnias. They're so cute. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to be putting tomatillos and tomatoes in this bed here. If you don't know, tomatillos need 2 plants next to each other to help cross-pollinate. So I'm going to put a tomatillo here and a tomatillo here, and I think that that'll kind of help with that on this trellis system that's here. For the trellis system, this is from, the string is from Amazon. I think this trellis system is the easiest one. So far, it's not really my favorite. It's my favorite to plant them, perhaps, but not when I have to take them down, because then, everything is woven between each one of these, and when you yank it, it's kind of a pain. So if you don't know, I prefer easy things. Oh, Lord, there's a bunch of ants right there. I do not want to step in. Oh, look. So pretty. Yep, I got ants. I hate ants. I never had an opinion about ants until I became a gardener. Okay. So back to this bed. So this bed I'm going to be leaving empty and putting tomatoes in here. See, that's a bell pepper plant here. I'm going to walk so you can see it closer. This bed is my 6-foot bed, whereas all my other beds are 7 feet. And we got them all off of Amazon. So this one obviously has some yellowing, so I need to address it. But this bed was full of tomatoes, and so it didn't get the proper sunlight because it became overgrown in a severe situation over here. Obviously, these are my dwarf zinnias. You can see I need to trim up the bottom. There's some disease here, so need to address that. In this bed, I'm going to be pulling these zinnias out, and these are my jalapenos. I'm so proud of these. They're super fun. Look how cute. You can see they're starting to turn a little darker color there. And then these are like the star of my garden here. This 4-foot bed here, I've never really actually got anything to grow in it. Oh, there's a bee. I need it to pollinate my stuff. So I put this bed here because some plants need the shade. And as you can see, this is in the morning time. Right now it's before 9 a.m. So my garden gets partial morning sun, but this bed gets full sun now, and then in the afternoon it gets full shade. So I did that on purpose, but I haven't got much to grow there. So I'm leaving this bed empty, and I'm going to be putting tomatoes in it. This bed is where my carrots were last time, and it is full of ants. You can see a theme. There's ants out here are just killing me, but I need to refill this bed. So you can see it's kind of low on soil there. Just need to refill it. This bed is good with soil, so you can see it's pretty good. This is my Beauregard sweet potatoes. I'm growing them in a raised bed. I did not have success last year with the Beauregard sweet potatoes. So these are the Beauregards, and then these are the Purple Majesty. So I never grew these before, but my best friend Tracy said that they were delicious. So I'm giving them a try, but you can see here's the plant. They obviously are much more slower than the Beauregards for making runners and things. So I have one of my other best friends, Venus. She's coming over today, and she's going to help me in the garden, and I'm so excited about that. You just have no clue. That's such a blessing to me because I get a little overwhelmed sometimes, but you can see how beautiful these leaves are. So if you don't know, with sweet potatoes, you can actually eat the leaves after you're done harvesting. Maybe put them in a smoothie, grind them up, things like that. So in conclusion, I would say that for my summer tips, let me share with you some of my thoughts. So the final thoughts today are just completely random and in no certain order. But some of the things that I learned this year differently than last year. Obviously, I'm a much more experienced gardener this year. I've also started my YouTube channel, so that definitely adds a layer to things. But one thing I would say about this year is that I was open to trying new things, whereas in times past I was pretty dead set on like how I was going to do things. Not stubborn ever. Nah. So I definitely tried new things. So one thing would be this weed barrier here. Glad I did it. I should have done it from the get-go and from the start, because as you can see, I'm growing grass like crazy. And if you know, I have to mow like once a week here, and that's just not going to happen. My husband and I work full-time jobs, plus our normal lifestyle, and then I have this responsibility that I've created out here, and I'm grateful that we're growing our own food, but I haven't got to a year's supply yet, and that is on the list of things to get to and achieve. So that's one thing. Try new things. The second thing I would say that I learned this past spring and into the summer is that I do not like growing in the summer. I just don't. I knew last year I was going to do peanuts again. I did peanuts last year and was very successful. I did the sweet potatoes, like I mentioned, and I wasn't very successful, but I have just decided that this coming summer that my cover crops will be, mainly peanuts, to be honest. Also too, we may be gearing up for another round of IVF, and in doing that, I'll need some time for my body to rest and heal and all of that stuff. So I just don't like summer gardening. So the reason why I share that is because it was something, number one, that I learned about myself. But number two, if I am going to make a decision to not garden in the summer, I really have to dial it back to now to see what I want to grow between August and May. And I'm not really a big planner. If you know me, you know that about me. So I had to sit down and just decide, like, some of the things I wanted to grow between now and then, and how long that was going to take, and could I achieve some of those goals. And that took some time, and I'm still not done planning it out. And, you know, I'll probably end up going rogue at some point anyways, because I definitely can, you know, buck my own system, so to speak. So that's the second thing I learned, is that if I'm not going to garden in the summer because I don't like summer gardening, then I need to be a better planner when it comes to my garden. The third thing I would say is that, oh man, the time that it takes and the investment to do what I want to do and to create the lifestyle that I want to live is something that means a whole bunch to me. More than I could have ever imagined. Ever. And I didn't know, 10 years ago, I didn't know I'd be this person. I had no clue I would be this person. Matter of fact, if you told me, I would tell you that you're probably little. But here I am. And so I have learned that if I want to live the lifestyle I want to live, then I have to get up in the morning. And I hate getting up in the morning. As a matter of fact, my husband sometimes begs me, please, can we please sleep in? I mean, it's Saturday morning. I got up at 6 a.m. Now, for some of you, you don't mind that, but we do. We do. We like our sleep around here. And I need the fulfillment. I need that joy experience, being the joyful gardener. So, yeah, getting up early, tending to my garden in the morning because it's, hot as crap out here. It's just a part of the lifestyle that I want to live. And that's the third thing that I've learned, is that I want to grow my own food. And in order to do that, with the time that it takes, I have to get up before work, because I work a full-time job. I have to get up before work, and I have to be out here consistently tending to my garden, especially the size that it is. If it was a lot smaller, it wouldn't be so bad. But it takes me a good 10 to 15 hours a week in this garden. And then my YouTube channel takes me anywhere from 5 to 20 hours a week. And so, yeah, so it's like another part-time job, if you will, on top of my full-time job, and then my house responsibilities, and then being a wife and things like that. So it is time-consuming, but it's well worth it. So drop in the comments and tell me, what are some gardening tips that you've learned along the way with your gardening journey? What are some things that you would do again, and what are some things that you would say, nah, not so much? What are things that bring you joy and peace? What are some things that bring disruption? What are those little things in your garden that are specific to you that just don't bring you that much joy? I'm just curious of your thoughts. So this is the Joyful Gardener. Let's keep it moving.